Hi Andy, how you doing?
Pretty good. Second lockdown is, taking its toll now. I'm of an age group, and because of my prostate cancer, where you might consider me in one of the high-risk groups, but certainly not vulnerable. As one of my best friends says, you're more susceptible than vulnerable.
I like that. So, exciting news from the Sweet Camp this morning, Andy. You've announced just a few hours ago that you'll be releasing the new album, Isolation Boulevard, digitally for this, and then the CDs next, and physical release next year. Digitally released on the 18th, and you've got your first single coming out, Still Got the Rock, released on the 8th of December. Did you want to tell us a bit about those releases?
I think I put a little soundbite there, basically saying that the technical problems involved with doing things where you're all remote and in isolation are sometimes insurmountable, but not impossible, as this album will absolutely prove. My drummer Bruce is not technical, and we've compiled his drum tracks from outtakes and lots of other things that I've actually got in the digital medium here.
Oh, cool.
Because we actually wanted to go for it needs to be accessible.
Yeah.
And we have a new singer
Paul,
who's been but he's been depping with us for quite a while, but he is now the front man, and Lee Small joined about just over a year ago, and we now have what I consider to be a band that should be gigging. So what we decided to do is we went over some of the old ground by putting some of the hits and some of those heavy rock tracks from albums together. It's all kind of newish recording done to newly edited drum tracks, and I've even managed to get the original ARPs that I used in the 70s onto these recordings. So,
oh wow!
It's an interesting mix of things, and the engineer that we used is Tom Corey, the guitar player from the Novatines.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a band that I produce, and he is. Don't tell him, but I think he's a little genius.
So, obviously, you mentioned that you recorded this during lockdown. Did you say it was all done in? So you were all doing your parts separately, as such, was it?
Yeah. When the first lockdown was lifted, I managed to get Paul and Lee down here at slightly different times, and we set a mic up, distanced.
Yeah.
And because we were in our bubble, the guys who have been working on the studio stuff, and the last thing we wanted was putting ourselves in any kind of danger. But Paul is a fantastic singer and a great interpreter, and he knocked his stuff off in a couple of days, coming down at different times, and Lee very similarly playing the bass and singing his part. So yeah, easy.
Yeah, cool. Well, like you say, the band you've got now, the lineup you've got now, I think you're right. I was the last gig I went to before this lockdown, well, the first lockdown anyway, was Winter's End Festival. So so I obviously caught your guys headlining set down there, and that was a storming set, Andy. I've got to say, the whole crowd was absolutely buzzing for that. How was it for you guys playing?
Well, that's very nice of you to say that. We really enjoyed it, and it was a strange night to be playing. I did say to the guys from Planet Rock, do you think we should be on the Saturday? And they went, no, if you play on the Sunday, we'll hold a hell of a lot more people at the venue. And they were right, because it was ram-packed, and they were really up for it, weren't they?
Oh, the whole crowd was, everybody, it's you guys, isn't it? So who's not going to be up for seeing you guys? But so obviously you've had to sadly postpone the tour at the end of the year with everything that's going on. I was due to be coming down because I say I'm from Bury Cinnamon, so me and my wife were due to be coming down with some friends to see you guys play at the Apex.
That's a really nice venue, isn't it?
It is. It's a lovely venue. I host a show down there myself. I lost my dad to cancer 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I put on an annual rock show, like a little mini one-day festival thing down there. So yeah, it is a brilliant venue. It is a really good venue. So are you guys still having Limehouse Lizzie supporting next year with rescheduled dates?
Do you know something? All I know is that the dates have been revised for next year, and quite honestly, there's a couple of extra dates in there, like Rock City and Nottingham, and a couple of O2s that have been added. So it seems that not playing this year has actually improved the tour for next year.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that most of the festivals and most of the outdoors that we've got lined up in Europe all still kind of go ahead. Our touring and gigging and festival stuff in England is not easy. I just don't think that the people who put these lineups together see us. They don't see us as a relevant band. So it's quite difficult. Hence, the one outdoor that we will be doing in the UK will be on the 12th. No, it's earlier now. It's the 4th and 5th of September, I think it is, the Saturday, Sunday in 2021. The Rock Against Cancer gig that we do here in Wiltshire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh cool.
So. And the website for that, if you want to get tickets or you want to look at it, is concertatthekings.co.uk.
Concertatthekings.co.uk.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely make people go have a look for that. So, other than, I imagine the album and the singles taken up a lot of your time during lockdown, what else have you been up to, both with the band and sort of hobby-wise, I guess?
I've been... Let's put it this way. My wife has worked incredibly hard in getting this place together, and there were bits that definitely needed doing. And my office, for example, has never been so clean and organised. You know, so there are good and bad points. I mean, we live in a converted barn in the middle of the Wiltshire countryside, and
oh, lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it's a magnificent location, but it's big and it needs a little bit of TLC sometimes.
Yeah. So with the album, did you self-produce that then, or was the engineer that you spoke of previously doing the production work on it as well?
I'm not the guy to sit in front of a computer.
No.
When I look at somebody else doing it, it's like me working in an analog desk.
Okay, yeah.
So I can easily turn around and say, you need to bring that down. And you need to compress that, you need to pan these, you know, but don't ask me to do it, because I've erased too much stuff in my time on a computer, so, and it's quicker with somebody who understands and knows it, you know.
Yeah, cool.
I don't want to be the one, go and have a cup of tea while I work out how to do this, you know. Tom is, you know, is absolutely fantastic with it. So, yeah, I'm the producer. He is the engineer, the editor, the mixing engineer, and we even, because I couldn't get the two regular guys that I would use to master the album, we got ourselves a program which has got sort of self-help mastering technique, and we sent it to our German partners. And they went, well, we don't need to get it mastered. It sounds fantastic. So obviously we did a good job.
No, that's great. So do you feel like you've sort of, although you're saying you're not the one that sit down in front of a computer, that because you've had to do it, that you've learned a lot in this making this record?
I've learned a lot about latency and somebody recording their parts to the track that we sent them in their studio, and then they send it back to us, and you expect it to just automatically throw it into the track that we had. There's always a minute bit of adjustment that needs to be done. It's never, you know, seamless. And the thing is, you know, we're so looking forward to getting out there to play again. I just think that we're going to have to. I just think we're all going to have to keep our heads down till at least March, and then you might see some changes. I mean, I saw the fact that the Foo Fighters had done this gig at the Roxy in LA.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, nobody in there.
No.
But, and Dave Grohl, with his sense of humour, you know, basically saying, you know, this is where we'd be hearing you singing the song before we do. You know, and and I'm just not sure. We had an idea, you see, for the launch of this record, to do some kind of stream gig,
Okay.
and we were going to do it this month. But the problem with the fact that we went into lockdown, it couldn't be done,
No.
and we'd already set some dates as to when we wanted to release this stuff, and to start thinking about doing it days before the release of a single or the album is just nuts. Because if you don't get it right, then you've done all this work, and it doesn't happen on the day that you want it to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't want to line that up and then, like you say, and not be able to do it.
So yes, there might be something in the new year at one of the kind of venues that we're used to performing with a kind of reduced audience, just to create a visual.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Okay, so final one for you, Andy. What song of yours would you like us to air out the interview on?
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll send you a copy of the new album. If we were to send you Still Got the Rock, would you play it?
Hands down, I would, Andy. Definitely. I'm looking forward to hearing that single. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for your time. Take care.
Yeah, and you, man.
Cheers, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.